Welcome to my presentation on Hygiene Health. It's wonderful to meet you. My name is Shivani Ashaya, and I'm a life and wellness coach. So that's why hygiene is important and why I feel it's valuable to spend a few moments to talk about it here. So why is it important? Just basic information, the CDC, Center for Disease Control, has a long list of communicable diseases that are completely preventable with proper hygiene. So those types of things are athlete's foot, chronic diarrhea, tooth decay, head and body lice, hot tub rash, pinworms, scabies, ringworms. So for example, hot tub rash, that's something that you hop into somebody's hot tub over at their house and they don't properly maintain it. Thus, tons of bacteria are just thriving in that hot water. And what do you know? You end up with your skin reacting to that. All of these items and quite a few more are listed on the CDC, as well as ways in which you can, measures in which you can take to prevent these diseases from troubling you. So what gets in the way of hygiene and good health? That would be environmental. If we look at that beautiful little girl who's covered in dirt, this really just has to do with the environment in which she's raised. Nobody is teaching her anything different, thus she's going to be exposed to a lot of different bacteria and pathogens. Psychological, so that could be some sort of psychological disorder in which you are oblivious to your physical body and environment, and thus you have no clue about anything regarding hygiene, or the opposite, where you're so fearful of catching disease that you're constantly washing and cleaning. So both of these are worth, and I'm just going to throw it in here, that they're worth exploring the psychological challenge with a medical professional to see if you can alleviate any of those symptoms and experience your life in a much more grounded and well experience. Situational, so for example, you might be out in the country and you wouldn't have access to soap and water to wash your hands prior to eating. You might also not have any alcohol sanitizer in your purse or in your pocket or your backpack. So you might end up eating with dirty hands that would have who knows what kind of bacteria on it. Behavioral, so that could be something that's passed down in a particular family. I'm not sure if it's this study or another one that I read, but they said in particular locations, people only brush their teeth. I think it's those that are British only brush their teeth once a day, and that's a normal thing for them. So, things like that can be passed along. And physiological or health, I'm going to group those together. That would look more like when you're really struggling. You got some sort of chronic disease or some other form of disease that your body's trying to get over, and you just don't have the time or energy to put towards your hygiene. Of course, this would be one of the best times to do it if you're having some sort of body trouble, because your immune system will probably already be taxed and it doesn't need any new pathogens to have to fight off. Another aspect of hygiene is the different cultures and how we might want to be sensitive to the standards that are set in different locations. Now, there are a few different aspects of this, but I'm only going to talk in this brief one about bathroom use in different places. So this author of an article, of which again is referenced, and you can go read the whole thing, they were talking about Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, that they, instead of having toilets like what we have here in the West, they just have a hole in the ground. And I have had an experience with this when I visited Hong Kong, that needing to go to the bathroom in a restaurant, and the friends that I was with were quickly grabbing for their purses when I told them I had to go to the bathroom, and I was confused. Well, they were grabbing for Kleenex or napkins for me to be able to take with me. So knowing full well that there wouldn't be anything in there for me to clean myself with, and there would simply be a hole in the ground. So that was a very interesting way to go about it. There was also no sink, so no way for me to wash my hands after leaving that bathroom. So these are things that are valuable if you are going to travel to different locations to be aware of, maybe do a little research, and maybe carry things like alcohol sanitizer in your purse or in your pocket or something, and Kleenex in case you find yourself needing to use a hole in the ground. It can also be helpful if you have individuals that are going to come and visit you, that you are prepared, like my friends were prepared to support me through that experience. Okay, and so finally, because I love to encourage people to explore new ideas, and the questions are there ways to improve your hygiene? And if not, do you need to find ways to loosen the reins a little bit? Are you a little too tight or are you a little too loose? So, including the options that I've referenced here, you might also do some Google searches. You could go over to the health topic on my channel and begin to explore some of those ideas. But once you find something, and you don't need to create this huge routine right away, but if you find one thing that could improve your hygiene today, you begin to implement that so that it's a part of a routine, so it's something that you can really incorporate into your life. And then from that, once you feel like that one's incorporated, then you can incorporate a new routine. And again, being mindful that we don't need to become too obsessed about our hygiene, so that we're, not headed down the road of neuroticism. And other than that, because I love interactions, leave me a comment. Let me know how the topic of hygiene is going for you. I'd happily give you feedback that can make your life easier. I might have references that I could point you to again, make life easier. Or if you want to end up talking to me live, reach out and we'll work on a way to implement a program so that life can be lived in greater health and vitality. So as promised, here is my list of resources, and they will also be below the video in the description so you can easily copy and paste and learn more. Thank you for your time. I always appreciate individuals that are willing to open their mind and explore new concepts and new ideas.